right, people. Been to the Outer Banks week ago, and just got back last week and cleaning up everything. So I promised I was going to do my favorite rifle. Out of my 3 favorite rifles, I was going to do my favorite. I hadn't done that. Well, my first favorite rifle was the Bergara B14. That was the last video I did. And then the toss-up between my second and third rifle was my Winchester Model 70 and 30-06, and my Bergara rifle. This is a Bergara B14 Hunter in 270 Winchester. I think I have to put this ahead of the Remington Model 70. I think it has to go before that. Both rifles are absolutely buttery smooth in the action. This rifle right here, I mean, this thing is, you'd be hard pressed to find a rifle that's smoother than this, and I mean very hard pressed. Picked this rifle up, bought this rifle in June of 2017. I was looking for, up until that point, all I had was my Winchester Model 70, 30-06. It's all I owned. Only bolt action rifle I owned. But I kind of was kicking around whether I was going to get a custom rifle done or buy something. And I happened to run across these rifles. These had kind of just started making a name for themselves. It's got the, I don't know, it's hard to tell in this video maybe. It's got the speckled black and light colored speckle in the green stock here. And this stock has got that, I don't want to say Duratouch or something, but it's not really sticky or tacky, but it's just I don't know, it's just got this feel about it. And I haven't had any issues with this thing. It's got the, I want to say number 5 contour barrel. You may look them up. I may be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's got the black nitrate coating on the barrel. These guns were made or produced in Spain, if I'm not mistaken, and they're made here in, I think, Athens, Georgia, is where they're. Let's see, I think it's got it on the barrel right here. 270 Winchester, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Distributed out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, with the made in Dakar, Spain. This is a Remington 700 footprint. The scope mounts and everything would be and these right here. These are Leopold one-piece scope mounts. It's got somewhat of a Seiko type design on the back of the bolt here. It does not look like a cocking piece. Does not look like a Remington, nor does the bolt knob and all that. And it also has what it has better than the Remington is the bolt releases on this button right here. Pull the bolt up, push the button. You don't have to touch the trigger, and the bolt comes out. Put the bolt back in. You don't have to push the button to bolt it back in. Does have a Remington-esque type safety right here, push button safety. We're safe and we're not safe. It is just a 2.2 position safety, much as the Remingtons, but this is nowhere near a Remington trigger. I can't remember who makes the triggers on these. Something makes me want to say that this is the actual Trigger Tech trigger, but I very well may be wrong on this. This may be just a standard production trigger that Bergara puts in these things, but maybe it's one of the higher line ones they use the Trigger Tech. But anyway, but this trigger is leaps and bounds above a Remington 700 trigger. That's for sure, and it is adjustable, but it doesn't have the safety issues that may or may not occur with the Remington old style Walker triggers. But anyway, so full plate, that is a blind magazine with the drop down full plate, just like a Remington model. just like the Winchester Model 70s, and just like some of the Remington's 700s have the full plate. This gun, I've got a Quaker rubberized sling just because, well, they work. They grab your shoulder. They're pretty good slings, and it comes close to matching the color green on here. I guess that was, I don't know if I did that on purpose or whether I did that by accident, but very nice recoil pad on these things. This gun does not kick like a mule at all. I did have, this end is a Vortex flip-up scope cover. I did have a Butler Creek on this one. However, I lost it last hunting season, and I have took this thing out and have went back and looked for it 2 or 3 times, and I cannot find it. And quite frankly, Butler Creek, I believe, has changed the sizing on their thing, and it's just been a pain in the rear end. And I'm just having fooled with getting this thing situated and squared away and getting a new one on it. But anyway, been hunting with my Browning, so. Let's see, what else is there to say about these things? This is by far my most accurate gun. 3.39 was, I wish I had the software and I had the know-how, the computer to edit these videos, and I could throw in some pictures of groups that this gun shoots. This gun will shoot a 3-shot group that you can cover with a dime. .039, I think, is my tightest group on that thing, using the ballistics app on your phone and doing the, marking the circles, and it measures it for you. Can't remember what the app was called, but anyway, this thing does shoot for real, consistent 3-shot clover leaves that you can cover with a dime or a nickel. That is no BS, but that is shooting my reloads. I don't think I've shot any factory rounds through this thing. No, I take that back. I shot a box of Winchester, just PowerPoints, just the cheap Winchester PowerPoint 130 grain, to start the break-in barrel procedure on that, and then I had worked up some loads, 130 grain Accubons, using Remington brass. Remington brass is my favorite. I seem to get my hands on Remington RP brass just about any time I want to, and I did. I've got a 5-gallon tub of that stuff for $270 and 30-06. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, but yeah, this thing just consistently shoots. It's just accurate. It is the most accurate gun I have. And like I said, this is only the second bolt action rifle I ever owned up until I bought this thing. It's a funny thing, when I went to buy this, I actually ran into this local store here in the state of Virginia. It's called Green Top, and they had a few of these things on the shelf, and I was talking to a guy about them. Hey man, I've never heard of this. What do you think? What do you think? And that guy tried almost everything he could to try to not sell me a gun. I mean, he's pushing a Brown, and he was pushing of this, he was pushing of that. I don't think he was educated on the Bergaras, or didn't know too much about the Bergaras, or maybe Bergara was in 17. I don't maybe think the name here in the United States was that well known here, actually, in this part of the United States, or at least in my state. I'm not really sure which, but I started doing a lot of research on the internet and found out really that some of these rifles are the closest thing you can get to a custom rifle for under $1,000. I mean, this gun was under $1,000. And so I ended up finding this thing. We had just opened up a few counties over, was a Cabela's that had just opened up here in Virginia. And I just happened to be over there one day, and I think it was me and my wife were over there. I don't know, I was over there just looking around, and I just happened to look up on the wall on there, and I said, hey, and the guy was there, I said, is that a Bergara? And he said, yes, sir. And you would like to hold it? And I said, yeah, let me look at it. And I really didn't know what caliber I wanted. I've always shot 30-06. I'm not scared of a bigger gun. I'm not scared of I've got a 7mm mag. I'm not scared of those. Even though those of you know me, I have a pacemaker here in my shoulder. I've had a pacemaker in this side of my shoulder most of my life, and then when they put me on a defibrillator / pacemaker, they put it over here to help me with shooting, because I am right-handed. So You know, I'm not bumping around my pacemaker. But anyway, I've never been real recoil sensitive. I've never been a real big fella either. I mean, growing up, I was a little guy. I didn't weigh much of nothing. And but anyway, I thought, well, man, I'm getting older. I'm getting older. So I broke away from the 30-06, and I got this in 270. I had previously, my son had a 270. My son, I bought him a 270 Savage some years back. It's been a while back. First, my son's left-handed, and really, it's really the only left-handed rifle. We don't see too many left-handed rifles around here. I mean, you have to go out your way to find one. Come across his, and it was a 270, and I said, well, let's just nick down 30-06. I don't know much about a 270, but we'll give it a try. So I bought it for my son, and that was long before I bought this rifle. And my son has killed a lot of deer with his 270, and I've shot his 270, and I actually like the 270. And with all the 30-06 brass and all the 30-06 stuff I got, necking it down to 270 is not an issue if I ever had to. Like I said, finding Remington 270 brass around here is not a problem. So, I mean, I've got, like I said, I got a 5-gallon tub over here of 270. Between 270 and 30-06, I got Remington brass out the wazoo. So, anyway, but this is, I'd have to edge it out. I'd have to take the classic Model 70 Winchester, and I'd have to bump it to third place. Just this gun is just a smidge better than that Model 70. My Model 70 was my first bolt-action rifle. It was my first big game rifle, first high-powered rifle. And even with all those points and the nostalgic, the woodstock and everything, it don't outshoot this. This shoots that Model 70. And so that's where I have to put this at second place as far as my top 3 rifles. It outshoots my Browning. There's no doubt about that. It outshoots my Browning. But my Browning, that's where all of my nostalgia and my heart goes into that old Browning BAR. So that's why that has to be, and that's a 270 Winchester also. I kind of have fallen in love with the 270 caliber, but I think that's about all I got to say about this thing. I mean, this gun, I think now most of these B14s are going for $600-700, something like that. They are less than $1,000. This is the scope on this. This is this is a Vortex. This is a Crossfire 2. This is a 4x12 by 44 on this. I really like this scope. It's a little long in this section right here, but maybe, I guess that's why, because it's a 44 millimeter instead of a 40. I don't know, but this I would have to. This is a good rifle. But believe it or not, I have yet to kill a deer with this thing. I have yet to be able to kill a deer with this thing. Shoots wonderful. Shoots wonderful. It's a joy to shoot. It doesn't seem, it's got, like I said, it's got this really nice recoil pad on it. Doesn't kick too bad, but she's full floated. Sits in here. One thing, this bolt shroud back here. Bergara had an issue with these things when they first came out. They were made out of that pot metal. Old mechanics used to call that stuff, old Chevrolet door handles were made of. They used to call it monkey metal. And the threads would strip in them, and they were having issues. I did not have that issue with this gun. However, I did sent Bergara an email, and they were going through and they were making machined threaded and a machined bolt shroud, rear bolt shroud thing. And I didn't have any issues with it, but I sent them an email. My serial number on my gun fell into the early models that had them and that had issues. But I didn't have the issue. But when I wrote Bergara the email, they sent me one anyway, free of charge. Sent it. Didn't want the old one back. I still have the old one, and I've got a thing of small gun parts over here that I keep. I still have the old one. It's fine. The threads are not flattened down on it or anything. They're not stripped, but I kept it. But this one is a machined one. It's not. It's machined metal. It's not that monkey metal or that pot metal or whatever you want to call that stuff. And I think they've worked that out in production and everything. But awesome customer service with that, and then being involved in that and everything. That was awesome. This gun, like I said, it is a 700 footprint. It does have some differences in the Remington 700, but it is a 700 footprint. The stock, a friend buddy of mine's got a BDL. It's got an old BDL 700, long action 30-06, and we took his stock off him and we went to put it on this gun. And it will go on this gun with some slight trimming on the stock. I did not want to do that to his stock because it's his stock, his gun. I didn't want to do that, but we did it just to see if it would fit. A few little minor trimmings with a knife or a little raspy little file would knock the pieces of wood down that needed to make it fit. And you could put a Remington 700, at least we know a BDL would fit on here with some minor modifications. But I do like this stock, and again, it's got that. I can't call it Duratouch because I think that's trademark for Browning or somebody or whatever. But I don't know what they call it. I don't remember. But it's not had an issue. It's not sticky. It's not tacky. I'm not falling apart like some of them were. But anyway, all right. Well, I guess that'll do it. And this is the end of my 3 favorite guns series. I may do a pistol thing later. I may do something different, but there you go. A Bergara B14, 270 Winchester. If you ever have the opportunity to pick up one, I would say jump on it. Jump on it with both feet. So anyway, y'all have a good one.